Rivers: rescind Fubara suspension now, US Law Institute Director tells Tinubu. US Law Institute Director, who is that one? Professor Cyprian Edward Ekpo, the Director, Institute of Law Research and Development of United Nations ILAW, Washington, D.C., USA, has written an open letter to President Bola Tinubu, demanding an immediate reversal of the suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State before the hearing of the suit filed by some governors on the matter at the Supreme Court. Can they do that? There is a body that can tell the governor that you have to return the governor back to his seat. I hope it's possible. I hope that there are bodies that he could listen to. Professor Edward Ekpo was shocked that President Tinubu relied on a frivolous and corrupt motive, like misinterpretation of a Supreme Court decision and unverified claims of oil pipeline vandalization to declare the state of emergency in Rivers State. Edward Ekpo, a professor of international environmental and public international law, told President Tinubu that the swift and corrective actions will help reaffirm his commitment to democracy and reposition his image as a leader who values the rule of law and demonstrate that he listens to his people. Can they hide it? Because obviously they don't listen to us and they do not value the rule of law. They don't. That listening to us is not in their dictionary. They don't listen to anybody. He said the president allowing the Supreme Court to dismiss the matter either by technicality or by forcing the parties to withdraw the suit, as some people anticipate, will damage his reputation as a pro-democracy advocate. 7 governors of the opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) comprising Adamawa, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Enugu, Osun, Plateau, and Zamfara State had dragged the president of the Supreme Court, challenging the constitutionality of his suspension of Governor Fubara. Oh, all of these governors really challenged it. Oh, wow. Okay, that's good. His deputy Ngozi Odu and members of the Rivers State House of Assembly on March 18. The appointment of a retired military sole administrator and the ratification by the National Assembly 2 days later. I am aware that the courts, particularly the Supreme Court, are currently saddled with this matter. Mr. President, heeding my humble appeal is your best course of action. Understand that you are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. A difficult choice. What difficult choice does he have? Waiting for the court's decision on this constitutional crisis or taking the more prudent and popular path of correcting the error now? Let me explain why the letter is the wiser option exactly. Just reinstate him back. That's if we will listen, because I don't know if that man listens to anybody's advice. If the Supreme Court opposed the emergency declaration and the suspension of a democratically elected state governor and legislature by another democratically elected officials, the President and the National Assembly, it will permanently stain your legacy. Professor Edward Ekpo wrote, do they care about legacy? Do you think that they care about legacy? I don't think so. He posited that Tinubu will be remembered as the president who undermined constitutional principles and legitimized illegality, adding that, regardless of the court ruling, the perception will be that the Supreme Court was influenced by him. Of course now, was it not influenced by him? It is. They are the ones controlling the Supreme Court. However, the US Law Institute Director noted that in their commitment to justice and constitutionalism, the Supreme Court justices cannot, in good conscience, sustain an obvious constitutional violation. I beg, the Supreme Court they talk about, they will sustain it. They are going to sustain, they have sustained a lot, so they will still sustain it. Just which day they still sustain the fact that, which one? Okay, there is not them, is the tribunal, Edo State Governor, and now they want to go to Court of Appeal. Section 305 of the Constitution of Nigeria, he said, does not grant a democratically elected president the power to suspend or remove a democratically elected state government under a federal system, under any guise. It also does not empower the National Assembly to take a voice vote to determine a two-thirds majority or override constitutional provisions to justify a state of emergency in this instance. Additionally, such an action of imposing a sole administrator on a state would directly contradict Section 1, Subsection 2 of the Constitution of Nigeria 1999, which explicitly based governance by a military-style sole administrator, Professor Edward Epo posited. He argued that a state of emergency can only be justified when there is a genuine breakdown of law and order that overwhelms the Nigeria police. Exactly, and that has not happened. It did not even happen at all. Conditions that were not present in Rivers State. Nevertheless, the Supreme Court of Nigeria, known for its tendency to violate the fundamental right to a fair hearing, may in an attempt to evade addressing these critical constitutional questions, resort to dismissing the case on technical grounds. This could involve coercing counsels into withdrawing the case or employing other orchestrated means, tactics for which the court has unfortunately become known. Yes, so we already know them for that. That's what they like to do. Should this happen, it will inevitably be perceived as judicial compromise under your influence, further eroding public trust. We don't even trust them again to even start with, in both the judiciary and your administration. If the Supreme Court sets aside your action, it will validate the allegations that you are an anti-democratic despot. This also goes to a larger negativity on your legacy, the letter stated. So is there like anything that these people, this law, whatever, can do to make sure that the president is reinstating back, or it's just all this warning that you're giving him and you're saying that either he does this or he does that? He will not listen, or he will not listen, I beg. Chinedu Anieke says, if Tipen was or is a military man, Adolf Hitler will be more human than him, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Oche Ekekwe says, everything about the actions of this government is illegal, very, very illegal. Why can't Tinubu forget 2027 and concentrate on good governance? Wike will consume this government if they don't take their time. That's their business. Because Wike is a destroyer, obviously. Olubenga says, may God forgive people who no get experience of politics, wey push Fubara go back to him house early because of their selfish interests. If for go learn how to govern a state, Olubenga, you're talking rubbish. You're talking rubbish. Otibe Benson says, the word is enough for the wise, aptly stated. You think they are going to listen? You think he's just going to listen to what this person said? Okay, now let's wait and see. Lawrence Oshie says, it's unfortunate that we don't have an independent judiciary system. We do not. They are not independent at all. Even the ones that have independence in their name, they are not independent. It is unfortunate that we have a compromised judiciary that doesn't judge our cases on real facts, but sentiments, and most times they sow their judgments or allow the presidency to decide their judgments. Yes, they allow it a lot. John Batako says, I like this. How I wish he's talking to people with understanding. Some people don't have understanding at all. So, my listeners, over to you. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, to share and subscribe. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.